Segue.
That's a good point to start on. So, I guess we'll kind of talk about like intros and stuff. My name is John, and
I'm Soren, since Malcolm didn't jump on that, but...
Not Malcolm, I just thought John would provide some more background.
well, I just looked to you. I know that's this is not very good podcast material, but
We're three dudes.
We're just gonna start talking about things that we enjoy. And I want to talk about Game of Thrones first.
What did you guys think of the end?
It's like this is bad.
Oh, I thought it was because he loved Daenerys.
I also kind of thought
that
it was a little bit of jealousy. Like,
because every time there's someone creepily standing and staring at other people, like it just seems like they end up falling in love with that person.
Game of Thrones is like notorious for other people watching other people have sex.
Fair, I guess.
Like,
I would say,
it
like,
literally started like they pushed Bran out just for seeing them, like
well,
children.
Just for seeing the brother and sister having sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Only incest. The nerve.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to say that like Tyrion like is asexual because like he's like extremely horny and he likes his prostitutes, but I would say that like maybe. I don't want to say he's like incapable of love, but like can he? I don't know if he has that feeling for Daenerys. I think he's more like in protector mode over her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. They kind of just wrote that whole part of his character out.
Well,
like the first episode, right, was him in the brothel.
Yeah,
was how we met him.
Yeah.
And then you've read the books, right?
Yeah, I've read all of them.
Dude, is that the same in the books?
Yeah.
Where they just write out the whole section of him? Or do they?
No, like it's pretty much like he's constantly talking about drinking wine and having sex with prostitutes.
I mean, everyone needs a thing.
He drinks and he knows.
Like
things,
I mean, it's not. That's true. He drinks and he knows.
I
things.
drink, know things, and have sex doesn't ring as much as on T-shirts.
That's true.
Doesn't have an extreme marketing value. So, what did we think about like the season as a whole? Then I guess, like.
I didn't like it very much up until that point. And we've talked about it before, but I felt, one, I know some people are like, who cares, it's a TV show, but it really bothers me how time doesn't seem to exist anymore.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like, that was inconvenient,
like
timelines and stuff.
He like all of a sudden appeared down at what's it called? Where were they? Where all the dragon glass was? What was that?
Dragonstone.
Yes, Dragonstone. Where he just appeared there.
And they only acknowledge that it takes a long time to travel places when it's convenient. Because, like, that's how the whole Sansa thing seems to be related to time because Jon left. And at one point, I think she said it's been, like, months or something. And then everyone else, it's just like, Daenerys is flying out on a dragon who travels at 1.2 billion miles per second. She is now in the north.
Yeah, I feel like the time thing first started when people realized at the end of last season when Varys was just on her ship and people were like, how the fuck did he get here?
God.
And everyone's like, well, he's the spider, so like he can. And they just give shitty excuses for it.
Real quick, Littlefinger dying. Feelings about him.
I didn't like it, but like it was cool to see the Starks finally united.
Did you see that coming? Did you see when they called her in? I thought
didn't.
she was going to try to take out Arya.
Yeah,
and Arya was
I thought so too. Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
I thought Arya was going to have to kill like 20 people.
Sansa's entire like her entire arc has just pissed me off. So
Yeah,
because I never know whether or not like I should trust her or I should like believe in her. And so like that was like the one scene in the entire like show where I'm just like, wow, you are. Thank goodness you don't suck.
Yeah, she like I think she redeemed herself as a Stark because everyone has done noble things and then ended in terrible things. They died basically.
Right.
But then the people who did shitty things just went through torture. Like Sansa went through her whole thing with the Bolton kid, and then Theon got his dick cut off. And when you betray a Stark, like shit happens to you, but then like you end up coming back and like proving yourself the whole time. I feel like that's what they're doing with Theon and Sansa. Like their stories have always been interconnected, but they're also sort of like mirror each other in a weird way.
I didn't like the fact that the thing that set off Theon was like a random statement was when he decided to be heroic, but like watching his sister get kidnapped, that didn't trigger him. or like all these things. He's watched all this stuff, but what set him off was John. Wasn't it John said like something about like, I don't know. Someone made a comment to him, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go fight a guy to the death."
Yeah.
Also, I don't think
John.
just because you have your genitals mutilated means that when you get kicked there, it doesn't hurt anymore. Like he just, he just like got kicked 3 times, and I'm just like, wouldn't that still like? I don't know.
It's not really.
I don't know how vulnerable your coccyx
is.
And also, I think you have to think he probably has like a high threshold for pain now because he was.
That's true. He was fucking.
He was tortured
like,
to almost.
For
that's why
indiscriminate amount of time.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna.
Yeah. I don't know how long he tortured. Well, back on the Tyrion thing, real quick. Everyone else thinks that, at least the theories I'm seeing are like the reasons why he was there, or that scene in general, was because he knows his sister lied. Like, the whole thing about how John should have just like said he was gonna help, just lie, and he was like when they were at the dragon's lair or dragon, what was the place called?
Dragonstone.
Yeah, no, the dragon pit.
Oh, dragon pit.
Pit, yes. So many dragon things names.
Yeah.
Very
prevalent theme in this show.
Yeah, but when they were in the dragon pit, when Snow was like, I can't bend the knee, sorry, I bent the knee to someone else, Tyrion thinks that the queen, his sister, is just going to basically... She did the same thing. She actually lied. She did what Jon was supposed to do as a ruler and just be like, yep, sure, whatever, and then I'm going to kill you later. You just don't know that right now. Right. So right now I'll give you assurances, but later you are going to die.
Ooh, so wait, they think Tyrion knows that and just isn't saying anything?
because he knows his sister's
he has
true
that
nature.
Weird loyalty to his family that treats him like... Yeah.
Well, and then, I don't know, I feel like he's always kind of gotten Cersei's game, but then he can never out-Trump his brother, which is, I feel like that was part of it. Where Jamie kept like outmaneuvering him by going to Castle Rock and all that stuff, and giving kitty. There's a cat here.
We have a couple cats in the room, and they're messing with the mic. This is a very serious business.
Come on, kitty.
Evie's a part of this too, guys.
You always need a mascot. Everyone can love the cat.
It's the cat
for sure.
God no.
God. But yeah. No, I thought that was an interesting theory that everyone's thinking about. That because he knows his sister, he knows that she's lying.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I feel like Tyrion throughout the entire show is able to like understand, like highlight everyone's motives for what they do, and so he knew exactly like how to play it and exactly what was going to happen. Like he even chanced like being sliced in half by the mountain.
That's true.
So I think that even lends like more credibility to what you're saying. Like he knows.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what everyone's going to do.
She's not going to kill me, but she's definitely not going to help me. So here we go.
Yeah. Kind of like
50-50.
Circling back a little bit, like about the pacing and like the writing this season, which wasn't great, but do you feel like it was a good sacrifice for like moving the story along and like all the like different things? Like I felt like each like episode was like a different revelation or a different thing that I've been waiting like to happen for like a really long time. Do you think that's a good trade-off, or does it piss you off?
Trade-off from like not seeing what?
Just like not as like good of writing because it's not based on George R.R. Martin stuff. I mean, it is based on it, but like it's not a direct adaptation. And, like, obviously, like, it has pacing issues. Like, there are, like, huge, like, time jumps.
Yeah.
But do you think that in terms of things actually happening, like, every episode, and, like, it was exciting, I guess, is, like, what I'm trying to say. It was like,
exciting, but I felt like we got to the end of the season, and I'm like, oh, it's the end. I don't feel like... Because, like, things happen, but I feel like the number of, like, big events that happened, I don't know, it was different because every season's kind of the same, right? There's like 8 episodes of build up, the big episode, and then the fallout episode.
Yes.
And I don't think we got really the fallout episode, I guess, which always kind of set up what was coming next. So maybe they're just trying to hold off. I mean, they ended with the White Walkers showing up, and I guess I don't know, I thought it was funny they just kind of walked around the edge. I'm like, if you could blow it up, why not just blow it up right in the middle next to everything else,
right?
But I mean,
maybe it was the weakest part.
Yeah, I don't know structure of ice wall engineering.
He knows.
Yeah. Also, Ice Dragon is A+.
It's not an ice dragon.
It's not an ice. Okay, it's a dragon
It's
made
right.
of ice that shoots fire.
You got
so,
your
Dragon
technicality
Ball.
there.
yeah, you caught me there.
Literally, I saw another article. It's like, I don't know. Some people, I feel like, especially with Game of Thrones, people just need to write about like every single thing. And so one of them was like, everyone's getting pissed off when they call the dead dragon an ice dragon. And I was like, Who? Yeah. I was like,
name one person
are you
besides
the
you.
only people who are writing about this right now? Like, I feel like that's why.
Fuck off. Just,
Hey, but you clicked on it, right?
No.
Oh,
No.
good.
I
good.
literally.
Don't
I was
give
gonna
that
say you're the
article any
problem.
views.
You let them
that's what
do
I did
it.
with like the 31 things you missed in the pilot. And I was like, I'm probably sure there's 31 things I missed throughout the entire season.
There was
and
a small
every
child
season.
standing in the
Yes.
background. He reappears later.
Yeah.
Or it's a different child. We don't really know.
It's so deep and meta. There's so many things happening.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know.
So I don't know. Even though like I had problems with this season, I feel like even when Game of Thrones is like at its, I don't know, I don't even want to say the word worst, but even when it's at its worst, I still feel like it's
pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's better than most
Yeah,
things.
I have to watch it no matter what.
That's how I feel. There are some series where, like, I don't know. Do you guys watch The Arrow at all?
I do.
I
Not.
quit after like whichever season where Deathstroke gets replicated or
Sure.
whatever.
Yes, I watched like up until like the most recent one and on Netflix, and like I found myself just muddling through the episodes just because I'm like, I just want to know what the overarching story is, but all these like middle things I could care less about, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there are other TV shows where their worst is like actually hard to watch. And for Game of Thrones, it's like if you see a bad episode, well, it's still pretty interesting because there's a lot of other intricate like side deals or like side conversations that will mean more in like 2 episodes from now. Or something.
Now, have you? Did you read the books or no?
I tried.
Okay.
And I don't know. Well, he took a lot of pages describing a flower, and I was like,
Yeah, that's totally fair. I feel like that
I went back to Harry Potter actually recently.
Yeah,
So I've been re-listening to those actually. So.
I feel like that's a pretty good criticism of George R.R. Martin's work in general. That's kind of how I felt about him.
Well,
No, one of my friends,
book.
he showed me one of the sex scenes in the book. He's like, just look how they do this. And it wasn't like ooh, like, let's read it because it's sexy. It was more like, what the fuck is he describing? I think it's sex, but I'm not sure. And so, like, I read it, and it was like, and he deflowered her while mounting her. And I'm like, what? I don't know. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I'm out.
They did it to the end. It's what happened.
There's my little mountain Funko over there. I didn't buy
I'm waiting
it
for
on
the mountain
purpose,
to do something.
But
I think they're just holding off for
He's
his
just
last big
there.
fight. My leading theory is Arya fights the mountain. That's my leading theory right now.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so like
They set her up.
The scenario, I guess, is like what the mountain kills the hound, and then like Arya's like, oh no,
She
my
does.
friend
She does the
Percy.
Viper, but doesn't dance in the middle of it. Just kills the guy.
I feel like she could take the mountain. She's fast enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
But he's a mutant
Plus
now,
she's
or
pretty-
whatever he's
yeah,
supposed to be.
I don't
an
know.
undead zombie
Red eyes.
thing.
At first, I
The-
thought they kind of did
the
that,
red- like,
so they didn't have to pay
Red-eyed
the
Walker.
actor. But yeah,
I don't know.
Something.
they didn't really touch on that, other than the one scene where he appears again. No, he's just there.
Yeah, all the time, constantly.
Just
Yeah,
hanging
I was
out.
kind of pissed off they didn't talk more about that or like show something happening to him. Just
Or
all
have
of a
him do
sudden-
anything besides draw his sword.
I feel like he's more interesting as an actor than he is as the character.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
he's like this fucking strong dude who like works out all the time.
Half Thor
has his-
Bjornsson.
Yes.
He
He's
claims
just
he
a
got
crazy
cheated out the
guy.
world's strongest man, but we all know Eddie earned it. There you go. There's some fitness references for you.
Thanks, yeah, no. I've been keeping up with that dude, and like, so like he was like the strongest man in the world for like a year, and then he got dethroned or something like that.
No, he's almost
Oh.
one. He's the youngest guy by far, though. Eddie Hall, the current one's like 35, something around that. Brian Shaw, who's from the United States, who lives in Colorado, he's 37, and then Half Thor Bjornsson, who's I think he's Icelandic.
Yeah.
He's like 26.
Oh,
And then
shit.
he's in amazing shape also. I mean, you guys saw him in there. Like, everyone else who does strongman has, like, a huge gut. And this guy's rocking, like, six-pack abs in the show. So
He's killing it. He's killing it every day.
So I'm just super strong.
yeah,
Right.
that's why you're a
Yes,
strongman
you're right.
competitor.
That is
Sorg.
the conclusion. That,
Sweet.
um,
That's what I got. from that. All that.
So final words on Game of Thrones. Anything else we want to add? Talk about?
Please don't take 2.5 years to put out a season.
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No.
I think
It'll
we'll
come
see
back
something.
out.
They
this
want
fall.
it done, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They have their plan.
I liked it. I like it no matter what. Honestly,
Same, yeah.
I'm one of those people who's just like, at least this kind of stuff is being depicted in mainstream media because nerd culture is awesome. Hashtag plug.
God. All right. So, do we want to move on to Rick and Morty and what we think of that? Then?
Fuck yes.
Jesus Christ. So now Malcolm, you said you're not caught up.
Oh,
What's the last?
fuck.
I saw the opening to Pickle Rick's episode, and then the YouTube video I was watching, I couldn't hear it. I had it up all the way and couldn't hear anything. So I'm sorry.
You too go through YouTube too.
Well, yeah. So my parents have cable, so they recorded them, but
Yes.
then they moved on me. So yeah,
Nice.
That sucks.
so nice of them.
What about you? Do you watch it like through?
I watch it on TV as it comes out. I DVR it. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
See,
John's fancy. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. John's-
I live at my parents and they have DVR.
Which holy shit! I guess they're coming home Saturday anyway, so there's no way we can watch it. Oh well.
Oh well.
Parts it is.
Well, I guess we're just gonna spoil some things for you because Soren and I have seen
Well,
it.
we can maybe just talk about the Pickle Rick episode because the last
Yeah,
one.
there you go.
The last
Okay.
one's. Well, I don't even. What was the last? The last one was about them. No, the next one's taking a break. The last one was about them going through that machine to get rid of their
Yes.
toxicity.
Yes,
And,
which
like-
actually I'm not sure if it was my favorite episode of all time.
I thought it was
But-
an interesting
It's an interesting concept.
Idea.
Yeah.
and what certain emotions can be toxic and what
Yeah.
people think are toxic emotions.
I would say that my favorite episodes probably from this season were definitely Pickle Rick because that was just.
I think that's literally the cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, that was the
You mean to
definitely
make-
yeah, that was the craziest one for sure. And then the other one that was like the Mad Max-esque, it was like Rick mancing the stone or whatever.
Oh
Yeah,
like in that
where Summer doesn't want to leave.
Yes.
Because they all are
Yes.
like dealing with the fucking divorce in super unhealthy ways.
Yeah, which has been like a huge like plot line like in this entire like season. Like everybody's super depressed.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know. I'm not sure.
Have
Did
you?
you guys-
Sorry, you go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you guys watch the video of when they were recording one of the episodes for the season?
Yeah.
And the voice actor, they
Method
wanted him
acts.
to actually be drunk.
Yeah.
Because Rick was supposed to be like mega
Oh, Justin
drunk.
Roiland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and then the whole line producer or whoever that woman was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it definitely wasn't an easy day in the studio. I was like, I told him not to start with tequila, but he went ahead and had 4 shots. I was just like, my man.
I would say
And-
good.
He sounded just like, I don't know, that was just so weird to watch that and then hear the things coming out of his mouth because I'm like, holy shit, like, he's just coming up with this shit out of his ass and he sounds just like Rick. Like,
Right, exactly.
It's exactly what Rick would say and that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I like that he does
is-
both. Have you seen him at Comic Con where he does the whole
Yeah.
full conversation between the two about
Oh,
the,
yes,
the
yes.
commentator?
I was before I came over here. I was listening to a really old podcast. It's this one with Kumail Nanjiani, and it was it's called the Indoor Kids, and he had a guest, and it was Justin Roiland, the guy that does the voices, and you can kind of hear like Rick and Morty voices in there before this was like even conceived. I just felt like that was so weird that he's like already doing the voices, but he doesn't have these characters yet. And
Yeah.
It's like wow, I just instantly recognized.
A couple years from now, man,
Yeah, I was like, wow.
shit's gonna get real.
This is crazy.
No, yeah, I think my favorite one was the Pickle Rick episode too, just because they did like an interview about how they kind of came up with it, and they were like basically just doing homages to a bunch of different series.
Oh
So
yeah.
like with the whole like when he was getting his pickle suit on or the rat suit, I guess.
yeah, the
Was like they based that off of like Iron Man 1 and like that whole sequence of
Okay.
him putting together.
yes.
Yeah, so like there's
can believe
they did
this.
a couple other ones too, but I thought that was just kind of cool how they just kind of take what they like, put it in fucking animation, and then say it doesn't matter, and then move on. And
that's
That's-
essentially Dan Harmon's writing
Yep.
process. That's all the dude does.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just full of references and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
like if you listen, so I have like the first couple seasons on DVD, and I'm a huge fan of like listening to commentary. It's essentially just Dan Harmon, Justin Roiland, and like maybe another voice actor or like producer or whatever sitting around drunk, and they just like start talking sort of about the episode. It's not even like they really give you like insights into like how they're creating this. They're just talking about Justin Roiland's day. Like, oh, you're never going to believe this, Dan. And then they just talk for, like, 22 minutes about whatever the hell Justin Roiland's been up to. And
so it's like 2 seasons of, like, a whole different, like, new content of Rick and Morty, but, like, with their lives.
Yes, that's exactly, yeah. And it's maybe the greatest thing in the world.
That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. If you get a chance, buy those. It's worth it.
That's probably going to be Christmas for Mercedes.
There you go.
Just because, like,
you're
she
welcome.
loves the
I want to
fucking
watch
show.
them now.
Yeah.
Put them in commentary.
Sure.
I know you're excited.
Yeah, I got these for you. Now I'm going to go downstairs and watch them. Just make sure they're good.
You want to open your presents? Nope, this is good enough for me.
God.
No, seriously, she's, like, super into it. Like, she really... Her favorite character is Jerry, because she resonates with him the most. Like,
okay.
Like, in a weird way. Although the last episode didn't really make Jerry out to be a great guy.
Right.
Actually, Jerry came out to be more like me, and I was like, oh, shit. I should really think about certain things I do in life.
My brother calls my dad Jerry now.
Oh,
the
no.
decision was, I'm the most like Rick. Toby, my younger brother's the most like Morty.
Okay.
Ian Summer, my older brother, he decided it also. So I don't know why he chose that, but he
That's
did.
fine.
My dad's Jerry. And my mom refuses to partake in these things. So.
That's fine. Yeah,
She doesn't want to be bad.
I don't think your mom is bad. Your mom is too nice.
You're a background character.
You're just a background.
You're the
character.
person wandering
Mr.
in the
Poopy
back.
Butthole!
Oh, God. I don't know. I'm gonna be on my high horse. I'm gonna sound really fucking arrogant right here, but like, there's like a lot of people that like Rick and Morty, and it just they're like edgelords about it.
Oh god.
They're just like, wow, this is the most deep, craziest thing I've ever watched. It's like,
Yeah.
it's pretty good, but like, I mean,
Fucking watch Westworld. That'll fuck your life.
it'll fuck your life. I mean, I don't know. Like, I like Rick and Morty, and I think the writing is really good, but some people just treat it as like the holy grail of like.
Well, it's the
Comedy
the
and-
next Family Guy, I think. Like,
Yeah.
Family Guy was like this breaking. Well, Simpsons, I guess, is really the homage
That's
to
fair.
those sort of things. But like, I don't know. I think Family Guy is what made it cool. Like, everyone like started to like these kind of shows, and now we have like a different one that's like more intellectual. And for our generation, everyone likes to try and be smart.
Yeah.
Or pretend they are, which is
Yes, that's
what
true.
I try and do every single day.
Same.
But
As a biology major, I actually am intelligent.
it's
so-
like,
Fuck off. No one wants you here.
but like, I feel like, it's just how like nerd culture is dominating every single movie that comes out there. It's cool to think now because what we can create with our minds is vastly more interesting than what, I don't know. I mean, that's the whole point. You just create shit and then people enjoy it. And I feel like back then, before these kind of cartoons made it okay to be weird, you weren't supposed to think. You were
Right.
supposed to do certain things, and that's how you get a good life. And don't be a dick, cat.
No, I think
random.
you're touching on something. So like, kind of back to like the Simpsons point. Like, that was like, I don't know. I don't want to say it was the first thing, but it was definitely like one of the most popular things. And even at the time, like
It was still like a niche thing.
yeah, like niche, kind of
Yeah.
like subversive in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And then like your point, kind of further about like Family Guy. I would say that like really crossed over into like mainstream culture and like
Yep.
everybody, whatever you think about the show, like.
Chase hates Family Guy, but she loves Rick and Morty.
I can't watch
Fair.
Family Guy anymore.
Family Guy, it used to be really, really, really funny. And sometimes I'll watch new episodes, and it's not very good, but every once in a while I'll get a laugh. But
Yeah.
it's pretty seldom nowadays,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, you can only watch so many 15-minute takes of Peter holding his shin. And, ooh.
He got really hurt.
Yeah, but like that was kind of their thing, was like push the joke ever so slightly past the comfortable level.
Yeah.
To the point you're like, okay, this is getting old. Oh, it ended. Perfect. And then after a while you're just like, I'm done with these jokes now.
There are a couple Family Guy episodes that I think are just like on par of like Rick and Morty stuff. I think one of them was they did like a murder mystery party.
Yes,
That
was
was
a good one.
fucking insane. I thought like every single aspect of that episode was written well. I thought like it was like a really good mystery, and they like integrated all the different characters in like really unique ways. Especially when who'd they kill Miriam? Oh no, James Woods. Killed James Woods.
Yes.
Who's been like a running joke forever and a half. I just think I don't know. I feel like that was when Family Guy I think was like the pinnacle, and then like they tried to kill Brian off, and everyone was like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
And then they brought him back like almost right away because everyone
they don't
was
want to
pissed.
lose ratings.
Yeah,
but that's the thing.
Well, they
I think
still
that,
lost
like,
ratings was the issue.
The reason, that's
everyone
true.
was still mad
Everyone
and
was
quit.
like, "Fuck off."
Good God.
Thank
But
you,
yeah,
Seth
no,
MacFarlane.
like for Rick and Morty, I think like because number one, it's on Adult Swim. Shout out to Adult Swim and Toonami for coming back when we're like.
When we needed you most.
When we needed you most.
Fucking
We're
old as
growing
shit. We
Saving
had
the
no
country.
time. God.
But I feel like because they're on that platform, and because they also realize, like, you know, if they take it with a who gives a shit attitude, people aren't going to react as negatively when they do something crazy, like fucking like kill Rick and Morty, and then like replace their bodies and shit like that, or like all that.
It's not sacred, I guess.
Yeah,
is kind of what you're saying.
Like they literally made you feel like every single character is dispensable, but we're also just going to replace them.
Right.
In really weird ways.
Another dimension. New portal.
Have you seen that evil Morty theory?
Yeah.
You have? About C-137 and evil Morty being original Rick and Morty's together?
Yeah.
So and there's actually evidence too to back it up. But there's this whole theory around how like the Eye Patch Morty Eye Patch Morty. You know that theory?
Vaguely. Just go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So the whole theory is Eye Patch Morty originally was C-137's original Morty. And the reason why they think that is because when Evil Rick, the one that Eye Patch Morty was controlling, was torturing C-137, they went through his memories and shit to see like what he cared about. And at one point you see him with like a baby Morty, and they're like but he's been gone from Beth's life for like 20 years, and so how would he have memories of a baby Morty if he wasn't around to do those things? And they showed him like growing up and being there.
Yeah.
And so what people are saying is that the current Morty is C-137's like chance to redo it because he raised the other one and fucked him up really bad and made him super evil. Now that so now this current Morty is like he's trying to teach him to be better and like he actually cares about him this time around, but like he's trying to like change it so that he can combat kind of what he did to another Morty.
Okay.
And so the whole reason why what was the last episode called for when he walked off with I forgot what it was called, but when he walked off with I don't know, but that was the whole point of the episode, that the reason why Eye Patch Morty was like that is because he's just trying to kill C-137 for fucking him up.
Okay. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like that a lot.
That's a real thing.
And you know, it makes sense because I like what you're saying, like where he walks off because he kind of like, does he take off the eye patch and reveals that he actually has an eye or whatever?
Like, put it in
they make a big like to do about that.
Yeah.
And it's like, this Morty has there's more that's going to happen.
Shit going
with this.
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, I like it.
Yeah, they say like season 3 is just about characters coming back because like, what's her name? The Galactic Federation agent who married Bird Person.
Oh God, yeah.
Made Bird Person again, like a Darth Vader kind of deal.
Yes.
Or what'd you call him? Like Falcon or some shit. I don't remember.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just rewatched the episode before I came over here, so I could have more talking points. But I literally forgot the name of what she called Bird Person.
I forgot.
Oh, God.
But that makes me hopeful for Mr. Butthole to return because like,
God,
he's just getting out of his rehab from getting shot. You know, probably around this time.
Yeah.
So
it's
total recall too.
But yeah, I mean, kind of like what you're saying, like there's a lot of like returning characters and like it doesn't seem like there's a lot of like world building going on so much in this season. Like I felt like
that's true. Yeah,
I felt like in past seasons, like they were
interdimensional.
They were just showing you everything
and
all the stuff that was going on, just crazy like off the wall stuff, and like there's definitely been
Schlim Schlam.
There's definitely been like a lot of crazy stuff going on this season, but I don't think it's really like expanded the universe so much because like we already know essentially what's out there because they've shown it to us in like the last couple of seasons. But this is more like talking about the characters and like developing them more, and like it almost feels like a really off the wall like sitcom.
Yeah.
In a way, like I mean, not a shitty sitcom, but like
Yeah.
actually it's like developing characters and like we care more about them, I suppose.
Yeah, I didn't know think about that till now, but really the last episode, there was a shit ton of alien shit going on, and like I feel like every time there was a new alien, like when Rick sold arms to someone else or to one of the alien races to go kill that cloud, or
Yes.
know, right, or the giant heads in the sky, or
Yes.
and then, like
Only
all
what
the
you got.
and then like one of my favorite songs.
Get Swifty?
Was Get Swifty was awesome, but the little people who did like the band thing, and they were like 1, 2, these little like insect guys.
Oh, okay.
And then it was just like this really like do 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 do. And I was just like, sure, that's awesome.
That's
Let's
awesome.
do it.
Gosh,
I
I think.
I just think it's cool that they really did expand the universe, but now they're like, well, let's
take
it
it
in
in,
and look at the relationship now after the universe kind of crashed in on this small family.
right.
I think that, I don't know, definitely not Game of Thrones writing. A little more.
No, definitely not. I want to talk about like the fans of like Rick and Morty again. I know I keep shitting on everyone, and there's gonna be a lot of that happening in this podcast because I'm a general curmudgeon. People that know me, but like people, they kind of fucking piss me off like about Rick and Morty because like they act like it takes so long for seasons to come out.
This last one took a while. It's 2 to 3.
The last one I feel like took a while.
It was from
but also
2014. It was 3
fine
years.
with me. I didn't really give too much of a shit. It made the hype.
Well, I mean, the
and
reason
rewatching
it took
it.
so long, they were having issues because there was an interview where they asked the main,
Dan Harmon.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they were talking about like, what were you guys just fighting a lot? And they go, no, if we had been fighting, maybe like we would have gotten something done at some point, but we were just kind of sitting around twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah, and and Dan Harmon, like people were like calling him out. He's like, "Oh my God, are you fighting with Justin Roiland?" He's like, "No, that's not what I was fucking talking about. Like, I was talking about like more like, fuck, I just lost it. Oh, that like we want to like make this like so perfect. It's not like we're fighting because like we hate each other, but it's more like we disagree on like certain things, but it's all like in the name of like this writing process and like making this as like the best show that it can be." Which I admire. Like, I think that's a really good thing. But my point about the fans is, like, I don't know. I kind of talked to you guys beforehand, but, like, there's a show called Adventure Brothers. There's only been 6 seasons of that.
Yeah.
And it's been on since 2004. So, cry me a river, Rick and Morty fans. And there's only, and only some of the seasons have 10 episodes. Others have, like, 7, maybe
Jesus.
8, and they're still going.
No, I get that with the fan thing because I think, well, I don't know. I get it and I don't. It's like the internet. It's like a double-edged sword. There's like
Sure.
really great things that you can do with it, but it's also really toxic, shitty plays. Because like, Game of Thrones fans saw where the series was going, with evidence that was placed very meticulously throughout the books. And that's why you got the 3 Targaryen.
L equals J.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's how you get that theory. So, like, that's really cool, and, like, that's essentially what happened. But, like, with the whole Rick and Morty fans thinking, like, they were fighting over shit, that's, like, the part of the creative process. Like, even if they do fight, that doesn't mean, like, you need to, like, write an article about it.
Yeah,
or
write an
like,
article, comment
that's
on
just,
it even.
yes, but that's, like, where we are. Like, everyone's going to comment on literally anything, and part of the reason why it was commented on to begin with is because we're in this generation that constantly needs to have things immediately, thanks Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, when we hear they're fighting, we're like, well, just fucking stop fighting and then produce Rick and Morty early.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm kind of like the same way with
Yeah.
George R. Martin, like, writing his books. Like, it's
Yeah.
a little ridiculous.
Tedious.
Like, I understand, like,
Yeah.
but he's...
Well, I mean, you look at it, he's like tripled the time from the original book.
That's true.
And it has I don't know if it's like Harry Potter where they all got thicker, but I think they all look about the same, right?
Yeah, they're
it's
about
not
the
like
same.
Yeah.
book 1 had 150 pages like Harry Potter, and the
And then
book
she's
9
like, "Oh,
or
shit."
7 had like 750 pages.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like it was a linear progression with them. With him, it's just like, oh, I got so much other stuff to
Yep.
do right now.
I got a
It's like,
flower
George,
to
you're not
describe.
that young.
I follow him on Twitter, and like he'll just post like pictures of him just like fucking around. Like he'll be just I don't know. Like I wish let me see if I can pull this up.
Yeah.
It's just he'll be wearing like costumes that like fans sent him. He's like,
Yeah.
"Ha! Isn't this hilarious? Look how whimsical I am."
He attends too many conventions.
Yes,
That's
he
it.
does that. He does that.
But he
quite a
finally
bit.
gets to enjoy it. The man's been writing these books since like
For
what,
years,
96 or
yes.
something?
Yeah, something like
And they
Yeah.
only hit it big.
And, yeah.
Well, they've been big. They didn't blow up like they are until
Yeah.
how long has Game of Thrones been? It's been a long time.
been a long time.
Those people are old now.
10?
My wife made a
I
comment
don't
about
know.
how they stopped dyeing Jamie Lannister's hair because those are the things that she
Yeah.
notices in the show.
Oh, that's true.
I
He
go,
was pretty
well,
blonde.
it hasn't been that long. I'm like, oh my god, it's been
Yeah.
such a long time because I started watching the season after the Red Wedding, and everyone kept saying the Red Wedding, and somehow I never found out what the Red Wedding was till I watched it. So
Dude, that was
God,
about the same time I started.
God
too.
bless
Okay.
the fans of Game of Thrones. I
God
feel like
bless.
I feel like I see so few spoilers most of the time.
Except
Maybe
for when they get hacked and then literally the whole episode leaked.
oh,
Yeah.
I stopped going on the internet. I just cut the whole internet out of my life. I do get upset when they were doing the theory about Jon being a Targaryen, and everyone was like saying it like it was their own theory.
Yeah.
It's like, or you read the book,
Yeah, one of the
or
two.
you took the years it requires of reading to get through those novels,
I think also
the flow charts to remember
Oh my
who's who.
god, yes.
because if you compare like the creative process for South Park versus Rick and Morty, they literally make that shit up within the week. Like
Yes.
they start Monday, coming up with ideas, and then they don't move to like script production until like fucking Wednesday,
You're right.
and then animation like starts like Wednesday too or some shit. Like they did a whole documentary
Yeah.
about how they do it.
7 days to air.
Yeah, or
Jesus.
something like that.
Yeah,
You have to think it's probably a little bit easier when you can pull from current events, and that'd be
Yeah.
acceptable though.
That's
because
true.
even if they don't have like something big happening, which is hard to believe
Fucking
right now
elderberries.
that something's
Oh
going
my
wrong,
God.
they can go back in their bag of tricks from 14 something seasons.
Right.
So
I
many
think
seasons.
it's even more than that.
Simpsons did it.
I want to say it's like near 20.
Yeah, it's
Like
the
it's-
show's as old as I
it's
am
old,
almost, so
Yeah, it's
I'm just a little babe. So
well, right now, like on Comedy Central, like the new season, I think it's coming out next week. Something like
I
that?
don't keep up with
No
South Park.
commercials.
Oh, okay. Well, never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
I think it's coming out next week. So they're doing like every South Park ever on
Oh
For
shit!
on
like
Comedy
6
Central.
weeks of
My
South Park,
God.
basically.
It's more than that.
It's like
You gotta add in commercial time.
That's
true.
I can't stand when they do back to back things because they did that
Really?
for Scrubs.
Okay,
When they did it for
yeah.
Scrubs, it was 7 seasons, and I love Scrubs more than like anything. But it was leading up to the ABC one where they went to med school,
oh,
and
Scrubs
the
got
writer
me through April.
he
Like,
wanted to
that transition period was nothing but Scrubs.
he just wanted to he wanted to name it a completely different show because it has literally nothing to do.
yeah,
And of course, they're not going to pass up the cash cow that was Scrubs.
right. I watched Scrubs like I don't know, a few months ago when it was on Comedy Central, and I'm just like, I don't know if this holds up.
I can't. I don't watch anymore. I started watching it for like a binge watch, and I quit. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't do it again.
Boy, back when it was on, man, that show was funny.
Back
as hell.
when I was 16, it was
funny
apparently
as hell.
I had a
yes.
different sense of humor.
I'll probably get
Same.
shit for this, but that's how I am with Friends.
I don't
I
like
feel
Friends.
like
I don't like
is-
Friends either.
The first time I
you're
watched it-
safe.
Well, I liked it, but like
Okay,
I tried
yeah.
to rewatch it, and then I was like, I don't care.
Ab-
I don't
Abby's
care about
Abby's binge
any of
watching
this.
it, and it's the first time I've ever seen it, and I
It's
want to
not-
punch
yeah,
everyone
it's
besides
cringe.
Joey and
It's
Chandler.
really cringe.
Yeah,
I just can't do it.
Yeah,
Some people really
it's
love
an
it,
interesting-
and that's fine, I guess. I mean, it's
I
not
guess.
fine.
I
It's
don't-
not. You're
yeah,
a
I
terrible
don't know.
human being if you love it,
Yeah,
but John will forgive
I'll
you.
play the fucking asshole if I have to in this.
That's fine.
Gosh.
I'm a ray of sunshine all the time,
I'm
so it's hard for me
always
to do.
positive.
That's me and Soren are known for our positivity.
Yeah,
Yep,
No,
that's right, John.
Constantly depressed.
That's
I am.
right.
constantly depressed. You should really get that checked out.
This is
That's,
turning into a counseling session.
God. This got real dark. Do you want to move on then to
Anything
You just
besides
can't
what we're
move on
talking
from
about
depression,
now?
John.
I'm fine. Shut up. You want to talk about remakes and adaptations and Death Note?
Fuck.
Do you want to talk? It sounds
Okay,
like
first
you
off,
got a real bone
I'm
to
going
pick.
on record saying I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I'm going to be the counter opinion to what everyone else is saying.
Okay, I'm going to say that I have not seen it, but I have heard the criticism,
Yeah.
so now you can go ahead.
I will
Tell me why the
say-
criticisms I've heard are wrong, because I also have not seen it.
Okay,
Actually-
So Soren, take the lead.
Actually, first, tell us about the anime Death Note.
it's fucking great.
Okay.
None of you have seen it.
I have not seen it.
It's very anime-y because there's this one scene that's super famous that everyone just can't get past. But if you just get past it, you're fine. But at one point, so the whole premise is that this high school kid finds a notebook that falls from the sky.
Okay.
And the reason why it fell from the sky is because there's a whole other world called the
Okay.
Shinigami realm, which is a bunch of death gods, which is what Shinigami means. It's
Okay.
a bunch of death gods. Well, if you don't know.
No,
It's
just real quick. My brother's username on everything has been Mr. Shinigami
Ah,
for like
yes.
my
Now you
entire
just
life,
got it.
and I just thought he was weird.
No.
Like it was some I
Well,
don't know.
he's Mr. Death God is really what that means, I guess. So super
There you go,
edgy.
Ian. Shout out.
Wow,
Super
Ian's
edgy.
a super weeb. I guess.
Anyways, so you basically you write down a name of someone. You can write down the conditions they die. You can control them up how like if you write down like John walks to the bathroom, takes a massive shit, and then dies. Like that's how you die, right?
Right. Okay.
So, but
I hope that doesn't happen.
so then like he goes on this whole quest of trying to get rid of the world's criminals and like getting rid of evil. Basically, it's that whole power corrupts absolutely. And all
Okay,
that fun
okay.
stuff. Good intentions lead down to he starts killing off FBI members so that they don't
Jesus.
find him and shit like that. Well, in the other version, to me, everyone was like, first off, everybody's white, which is true. Which
Okay.
I'm like, yes.
Yes.
If I like, to me, but here's the thing. It's hard to explain because I know I'm going to be backing up sort of like a weird you don't get racism kind of point, right?
Okay.
But
This is the side he wants
right,
to
you
choose.
always say
First
yes.
and last
First
podcast.
and last podcast.
It's over.
I think that the script did a well job of defining itself as being in America. They mislead the FBI to believe that he was in Tokyo, but they figured it out and they realized that he was in America,
Okay.
which they kind of do in the anime because they figured out that he was in Tokyo based on the patterns in which he was killing. So he was always killing like at nights or on weekends, which
Okay.
means he's a student. And his like the first attack started, they think, in like a certain area in Tokyo, and so
Okay.
then right, and
Gotcha.
so they did a good job in the script saying we're in America, and then a bunch of different shit that happens. He has a girl who's with him who is they're both in high school and they fall in love. It's a weird romantic relationship. She tries to take the notebook and all this stuff, but like that shit doesn't happen in the original.
Okay.
So, and their relationship's a lot better because in the anime, he kind of treats this one girl who's like this pretty pop princess like shit but he also loves her,
Okay.
sort of, like pretends that she loves her to use her power because she can also kill people.
Fuck.
Right. So, like, he
Jesus.
treats her like
I need a flowchart.
how a man, yes. Well, yeah, if you don't see it, it's kind of hard. But he treats her pretty shitty. Like,
Okay.
like the whole kind of, like, think of feminism and then the complete opposite of what that stands for. That's how he basically treated her. But in
Okay.
the new version, the movie version, they seem to have a pretty healthy relationship. The first
Okay.
thing he did was, like, tell this girl that he had this power. He didn't know what to do with it. He was kind of scared. He seemed scared.
Okay.
And that's not how Light is in the anime.
Okay.
So that was interesting.
Okay.
The main person who's trying to investigate him, L, he's black in the show.
Okay.
And he's Asian in the other one.
Okay.
So I guess I don't know how that works for whitewashing.
Fair.
Right?
Fair.
And then the only thing you have left is literally their skin color. And because to me, I think that it's defined in the story that it's an Americanized story. And there are
Okay.
a lot more, like there's a Ferris wheel they go on, there's a lot of American culture.
I think the issue is that they moved it from
Yes.
Japan is the complaint. And so I think
I
mean
think that's
it's
literally
still,
it, and that
it's
it's
still
different from the
whitewashing.
original.
Even if they make it established in America, the whole point is they moved it here just because they didn't.
But did you guys see that Great Wall movie with Matt Damon?
The same one that got a bunch of whitewashing complaints because it's some
but
white
that
guy
one-
in the middle of
that's-
ancient
that-
China.
Yes, but that's like a legit one. If he's placed in China, what are the likelihoods that the main story is going to be about
I mean, the
white guy?
complaint is that
Zero.
they're not giving lead acting jobs. They're just all the roles
True.
are being written in such a way that that they can't give those jobs to foreign actors. I think that's the complaint with whitewashing. It's like, okay, so it makes sense because Matt Damon came from Europe and whatever. But they wrote it in such a way. I've never seen the movie
Yeah, I
because
thought
it looks
he was
like garbage.
there, wasn't he?
No, he's a traveler. He's an
a-
adventurer.
He's a
right?
trader. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I think the complaint
Marco Polo
is
of the world.
that they
Yes.
write it so the lead actor isn't going to have to fill that role. So I mean, even if it's written in a way that's Americanized, they wrote it in that way, which took away those spots from Japanese actors.
I think
So
I think
because
that's
they-
a fair analysis.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
get it.
I don't have an opinion
That
because I've
makes
never
sense.
seen the show, but I mean, I understand why it'd be frustrating if every time there's like this big cultural movement, there's
Well, fucking
Matt
Ghost in
Damon
Shell,
shows
yeah.
up in ancient China, which
Yeah. Ghost in Shell is the same deal.
yeah, Ghost in Shell was a big one, but yeah.
I feel like one of the first ones that I remember, because again, I'm a child. But one of the big ones that people were like really pissed off about was The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. Remember
Oh
that
fuck
movie?
yeah! Why would
What,
that
isn't
even
that the one with
happen?
Keanu Reeves?
No. That's
that's
47 Ronin.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that's-
shoot, sorry.
Yeah.
Too many
No,
samurais
this
with
is the-
white guys
this
in the
is
lead.
different.
Okay.
But like, if you watch like the movie, Tom Cruise isn't the Last Samurai, but that's like all the marketing is that he's
Last
the
Samurai,
Last
Tom
Samurai.
Cruise.
Last
face.
Samurai, but he's some sort of
But he's just
colonial.
The only thing I know
Yeah.
about that movie
Drunk.
is
Yes.
the gif of the guy getting kicked in the chest by Tom Cruise's horse. I don't know if you guys have seen that,
Yeah, it's
but
like-
it's
Oh,
in the
yeah.
actual
Yeah.
film and like caved in the guy's
he's
chest.
like, God,
Yeah.
That's true.
just stay right there. We need this shot. He's like dying, like blood is trickling out of his mouth.
I like seeing things like that where
Yeah.
there's just like they show like the stormtrooper in the original Star Wars. Oh, and they went all in on that stormtrooper. He bonks his head in Episode 4, and when they redo one of the billion times they've redone it, they add a sound
God.
effect for it,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes like, "Oh," and then he keeps walking.
Huh.
But yeah, those
Yep.
those bloopers get me.
Kind of circling back though to the Death
Yeah,
Note
yeah,
thing. Overall, I thought it was an okay,
Okay.
like movie. It's good to a certain point, and then it's cringy the rest of it.
Fair. Okay.
So I get like of all the criticisms I'd go with is that it's just a shitty film,
Okay.
and that it had no chance to begin with, and
Okay.
to have your name on it is not going to get you anywhere.
Right.
So
I mean, it gets awareness.
the best that it's done is that more people are now watching the original Death Note rather than watching the movie, which
Right.
is just more marketing for the original, which is honestly 20 million times better than that movie could ever be. So, and that's how they did with fucking Dragon Ball Z too. Like,
Oh.
they fucked that up.
Can we pretend that
Almost
never
on the-
happened? Please.
Yes,
I've
that's-
never seen it.
Yeah.
And that was with saying that we watched it every night my whole childhood. We refused to see it. They cast James Masterson. He was a Spike in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They cast him 6 years before they started filming that. So like he had a big show because he was an Angel also, and those were like on TNT
Who did
every
he
day.
play?
He was Piccolo.
Oh shit.
They cast him, and when we heard that, we're like, "Let's go!"
Let's go.
6 years
Piccolo's
later, we're
gonna
like,
be
"Nope,
great."
we're just old enough to know. Like, nope, this is bad. Let's not
Yeah.
ruin everything."
I remember trying to watch it, and I'm just like,
Didn't
there's,
someone
like,
have a gun?
There's like a scene where like Goku goes to, like a house party.
Bulma. But I'm pretty. There's guns in Dragon Ball.
There are.
There are some, but I
Like-
just remember like there's the part of the trailer was like guns. I'm like, oh, they shoot
Yeah.
laser beams out of their freaking hands. But yeah,
Like,
guns are
guns.
cool.
Yeah, that's what we
Those are
got.
the most deadly things here.
Now he's in Shameless.
Yes, he's in
doing good
Shameless,
things.
and so is she. Bulma's in Shameless. They're both.
Oh god.
They're both in there.
Oh shit!
She plays the main Fiona. Yeah, that one.
Oh my
I know.
God.
I know. I also was like, what? When I made that connection. So let's talk about one more thing under this real quick. Ghost in the Shell. Did you see that spin-off remake adaptation?
No, I
Shit,
didn't want to.
I
I saw
Or,
Atomic Blonde.
Charlize Theron.
No, that's Atomic Blonde. That's Scarlett Johansson.
You're right. It is Scarlett
Oh,
Johansson.
I know my Charlize Theron movies. Okay. Abby's a
not
big
see
fan, not me. Abby.
So I did see
I heard
it.
it's supposed to be really good.
Ghost in the Shell?
No,
Atomic Blonde's amazing. It's the
I wanna
most
see that.
realistic
Oh, yeah.
fighting I've ever seen in my life, and it's Charlize Theron.
I got very confused. I was like,
But
no.
Ghost in the Shell, I heard, is one of the worst like
it
anime.
was fucking bad. So it's not
99
as
cents on
bad as
PS4.
like maybe the Death Note thing is, but it was pretty
It
bad.
didn't have the same production. Netflix.
You know, and you know, it looked nice. Everything was like very visually appealing, and it's very, I would say, very true to like the anime in terms of like plot, like beat for beat. But like at the same time, I'm like, why did this have to be made?
Huh.
Why can't we just watch the original Ghost in the Shell
Yeah.
thing that was made originally?
That's what.
And so this raises another question, because these are all shitty adaptations. Can anime be adapted properly into live-action storytelling, Western live-action storytelling?
I hope whatever Japan produces with Attack on Titan goes well.
I think that is going to be a shit show.
I think so too. I think so too. But like, there's always hope, right? Like
There's always hope.
I
but-
think it's easier to do. Well, shit. Has there ever been like an anime that's made into a TV show?
I don't know. You tell us. You're like the expert
Yeah,
on this
shit.
one.
I don't think so. I
I don't
think,
think so either.
I think it's so I wrote notes because I'm a professional.
I thought you were gonna say I wrote no as the answer to my question. No.
Oh, well, also, that is the answer. But I also wrote down notes of things that I was going to say during this. I think that anime is a form of storytelling that has its own tropes and inside jokes, and I don't think it can ever be adapted well.
I don't know, because to me, I'm watching Outlaw Star, which is like.
Okay, yeah.
Which is an older one, and they're showing it on Toonami for some reason. I'm like, this is kind of an
They
older
just
one
do,
to show,
like, they do really...
which is fine with me.
Yeah.
Like, I like finding the obscure anime stuff. You can't say. But, like, to me, Outlaw Star is the exact same thing as Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's
like,
fair. Okay.
The world is, there's like fucking robots and androids and things you don't know about. There's these magic stuff, maybe. It could just be technology, who knows?
Have you ever seen Space Dandy?
I tried not to.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
I have a limit on boobs, as much as I love them. Space
Fair.
Dandy, if it's just
Yeah,
it's just not,
yeah,
no.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I get it, and then I like he's like a quirkier Han Solo, but like weirder. I guess.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
yeah, and like this, the show is very non-linear
Yeah.
storytelling, which I was like, oh, so things in this episode don't matter
Yeah.
to any of the plot whatsoever.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying. Like with Outlaw Star, I feel like if you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, it's basically the same thing. Some
Okay.
dude with a cool equipment. So his fucking mask, his jet boots, his little handguns or punch guns or whatever he uses. I don't know what Star-Lord uses. And then Outlaw Star, he has this like what the punch like does
Something.
this.
He just has
punches and then like lasers
These
come
are
out.
guns.
Yeah, but he does
They're
it
guns.
weirdly. Who shoots like
Chris
this?
Pratt.
Chris Pratt. I don't know.
I think it's anime.
It's
by
something
any
like
means.
that.
But I'm
It's
saying,
based
like,
off something.
if you can see how other stories that are basically the same thing do it, then try that. Like, I feel
Okay.
like it wouldn't be that hard to do a live-action Naruto movie.
Oh, I think that's a recipe for maybe the worst movie ever
but
made.
it can't be like
It's gonna
through
make
Netflix.
Dragon Ball look like
It
an
can't
Oscar
be
winner.
It can't be through.
I think Netflix is the perfect person to do it because
It-
any
well,
company,
here's-
it's gonna be like Lionsgate or something that buys Naruto.
All right. Well, maybe we can
And-
show this, but there's two
Let's not watch a
things.
clip right now.
Well,
It's okay. It's fine.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
this shit.
Okay.
Now, if this is the fucking Dragon Ball, now this is the Light of Hope pilot that we're watching. So we'll probably leave a link
Just
somewhere
skip ahead
and all
a little.
that fun stuff.
It's 13 minutes.
But Jesus Christ! So this is when future Gohan is fighting the androids in that weird. We're not gonna be able to hear the fucking
That's fine.
sound.
That's okay.
Oh well.
Pew pew.
In like the future world where the androids destroy everyone and Gohan's the only one left, the Trunks story and that shit.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
And so this is like that fight scene that you do if you ever played like the Dragon Ball Z Legend of Goku 2 or whatever on the Game Boy Advance? Anybody?
No,
No.
Budokai Tenkaichi.
Yeah, that's all I played.
Alright,
I played
alright.
Budokai 3. That was my. And then they had the HD collection of the PS3. You ever
Yes.
play that? Oh, it was so
There we
good.
go.
I
Like-
unlocked every character.
So, like, yeah, it's kind of like a weird deal, but, like, once they get to the crazy fucking superpower energy bullshit, this is what Dragon Ball should have been like.
Yeah, but I
Super
think
serious.
Netflix is the way to make these kinds of things.
But Netflix
Because I don't think
just
any
attempted that with one of the, like, I don't know, not niche, but, like,
Okay, but-
craziest anime that's come around.
But they
in-
tried to make Death Note mainstream, because I would argue Dragon Ball is way more mainstream than Death Note was at the time, because I had no idea what Death Note
That's
was.
true.
So they tried to make it so it appealed to more people. They have a base for this, a larger base, I would say. It's
That is-
everyone.
yeah,
Everyone
I mean, that's
watches
why
Dragon Ball Z.
Super came back. Because
Yeah.
Fair.
they
Yeah.
realized it
They can
was
still
large
sell
enough.
a crap ton of games. They can do
Also-
all these things. I'd say
I don't know why
Netflix
they-
would do the best.
They chose to.
You always
We'll just
air
skip.
credits in the middle of the
There
opening.
we go.
Perfect. Good. Wow, I had
yeah.
a really good point. I had something that I was going to say.
Yeah, the fan base. I didn't think.
Oh.
You are right.
So something that I think worked, kind of. It was still not a great movie, but it was a good adaptation. Was the new Power Rangers movie?
Oh shit! Yeah, we saw that together, Malcolm. I loved it.
now-
I
Listen,
walked
I
out and
loved
said that was maybe one of the worst movies I've seen. And Soren goes, I thought it was great. I
great.
thought it was
I
so
loved it.
good.
Now, okay, I'm somewhere
But look
in
at
the middle.
this. This is so much
Yeah.
better than anything Netflix put together.
You're basing
And
that
by
off
that, I
one
mean the
show.
Death Note.
Yeah.
But like someone could come along, like I'm saying, if they're more traditional to it, I guess it makes it easier. But I feel like they try and like change things too much, which I guess is the whole.
But if they don't
watching
change
deal.
things, the only people that are going to watch is the base that's watching Death Note, and their whole thing is to make money and appeal to more. So I mean,
Yeah,
I don't.
fair.
That's why I don't think
Fair.
anime is going to ever work, because they have to change it so much to make enough money to make it worth it to them.
And so my point about Power Rangers
yeah, sorry.
was that I feel like, now listen, I understand your complaints. Not a great movie. I don't think it was mega awesome, but I felt like that adaptation worked because they understood that this was like a very cheesy like franchise to begin with, and then they kind of made it into something, I don't want to say believable, but like at least it had like production value and like it had a quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, plot, sort of. And so I feel like if they go like that route and like, I don't know, I don't want to say make it grittier, but like, I don't know.
I think the way you fix all of the Power Rangers movie is hire someone under the age of 40 to write the dialogue between teenagers.
Yeah,
Because that's I couldn't get I couldn't get
the
past
dialogue
it. It was so
probably
bad.
The shittiest part of
Because
the
like
movie.
there's that scene. It's so I don't even remember the exact wording, but like they're jumping across the ledge right after they all just like, oh, we all have magic superpowers. Let's tell anyone who asks us about them. And like one guy goes, bet you can't keep up, and then he jumps across, and then the girl's just like, oh wow, that got me all riled up, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna jump a fucking ravine also.
Yeah.
And like when they're all do that bonfire and attempt to tell each other's backstories.
Yeah. Oh, and the fact. Okay, can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that we were supposed
love
to
my
feel
mom, or
no,
whatever
no,
he
no,
said.
no. That we were supposed to feel bad for the girl who texted out naked pictures of another girl.
That is true.
That's true.
That we are supposed
That
to feel,
fucked with me
and you
too.
know, she gets redeemed. You know that she makes the ultimate moral victory when they drop something on the car of the girl who had naked pictures of herself distributed to the entire high school, and everyone in our theater was and like a couple claps. And it's like, no, she's the victim here. Like, not only does she now have naked pictures, she now doesn't have a car.
Okay,
And, yeah.
but they took the high school shit from back then that we watch in like the series and then put it on the like it was about as bad. I mean, they fucking did. I remember trying French fries and vanilla ice cream, like a shake. You ever dip in those?
Yeah.
Like, because of Power Rangers, because Butch is it Butch and
I don't know. It's not Butch and Cassidy.
because that's from something else.
Sundance
But,
Kid.
yeah.
It's Robert
but
Redford was not in this movie.
The two bullies.
Zordon?
The two bullies. Who are the two bullies?
Oh,
I know who you're
can't
talking about.
remember.
Yeah, those two did it, and they're like, "That's weird," and said weird stuff about him. Like, it's the same sort of dialogue that you saw in
Okay,
the show. It was
I'm
just,
just
less about.
I'm just saying,
shitty
I
clay
shouldn't have to feel
animals.
bad. One Power Ranger should not be distributing naked pictures of a student
I
and
agree,
then
too.
destroying her car
I
in
agree.
I
short
think
order.
that's-
Let me just say,
If for no other reason,
that is bad
I was
to do.
pissed about that.
I don't know. I thought like all the scene, like
The fighting
imagine-
was exactly
yes.
what it was.
It's what we
and
always
the
thought it would be,
Zords
but we
were
saw, like-
exactly what that was.
That was
And that's
pretty cool.
all fine, but I couldn't get over the fact that that was about a third of the movie, and the other 2/3 sounds like a 60-year-old man goes, "This is what the kids these days say."
I don't know. I thought
God.
they captured the '90s pretty well
Who
with
was
their writing.
that? Who was the woman that played the space witch?
Oh,
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was if anything, that was a great performance by her.
I thought it was pretty cool.
It
she
was
took
definitely
it
out of
seriously
her
and-
pocket, and it's not anything she's ever done before.
Nope.
And it was great. I really enjoyed her.
And Bryan Cranston was pretty weird as Zordon.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston was probably not. That was not a good
That
performance.
was not.
I did not.
I don't
enjoy
think
it
he
as
did
much.
good. And I don't think I think Zach maybe is it the Black Ranger. There's one Power
Yeah.
Ranger, the one whose mom was dying in particular. I
Yeah.
thought was
Yeah, the Black
had no
Ranger.
business
Wait, like-
saying anything.
Like the black guy or like the black.
No, the
No,
Black
he was
Ranger.
the Blue Ranger. No,
The Blue Ranger was
He
great.
acted
He was
the
funny.
shit out of it too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the Blue Ranger was
Didn't they
crazy.
sign it for like 10
I almost
movies or
cried.
something though?
I almost cried.
How many did they sign
I
these
don't
movies
know.
for? They have like a whole
Definitely
series
a
planned
second one. Tommy.
out. They announced them before the movie was
yeah.
even released.
Yeah, they
Did
did
you catch
Tommy at
that?
the very end.
Yeah, the cameo. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I wanted them. Speaking of YouTubes, there's a gritty
YouTubes.
Power Ranger
Yeah, there is.
redo, which
And-
and then everyone's like, nope, that's not Power Rangers,
Yeah.
which is true, but it was cool.
That's the one that I wanted to see be made, and no, we didn't get that. We
No
got,
way we're
we
getting
got
that.
what we got. So
Huh. Hey, stop
Um,
it. That's my cat.
We're editing out every reference to the cat,
Okay.
by the way.
Damn.
why not? Why keep the cat in?
Kit
It's part of the.
It's fine until like that's fine, but then we're like, God damn it, stop on the microphone.
It's
Can't
good.
tap.
PlayerUnknown's Battleground.
Yes!
Well, I just kind of take a break and maybe
Yeah,
offer
sure.
some points of analysis.
So
So let's just lead off with this.
the 16th, the farthest we've got. We're
Farthest
really good.
we've got.
Yeah,
Well,
we
yeah,
were-
it's hard when you're when the other player won't use a microphone.
I'm sorry.
You can understand the troubles of saying, "Hey, let's go over here." And as I'm walking, I turn around
We
and he's
did
laying.
pretty good.
He's laying in a building, so I'm trying to Facebook message him as we go, just like, "Hey, there's definitely people in this building." And I like get all the way across this field into circle, and next thing I see, I turn around and Soren's just laying in a building that I'm like 90% sure people were laying in there with him. Because that's we got shot from that building and died. Yes, we did. Very much died from that building.
He is right. I
Um,
mean, I'm not saying I'm
he also
good
plays
at
with.
it.
You can't play with a
Yes,
controller.
you can. Yes, you
Your
can.
looting is inefficient.
It's
I say drop this.
easier.
Usually when you say drop something, it's like, oh,
hold on.
drag and click, we're done. Him, it's hold on, switching mouse. Did I drop it? No. Okay, well we've been here for 20 minutes.
We have
we're
never
dying.
been in one place waiting that long. It's never been that bad. But I will say it is more difficult to coordinate without a mic. I'm learning that on Rainbow Siege as well.
You got Siege?
On
Oh, let's talk about Siege real fast. Ubisoft
and we
Ubisoft and GTA 5 have mastered the art of supporting a game post-launch.
Yeah, that's true.
They are.
I agree.
I shouldn't say that. I take that back. Ubisoft's Rainbow Six team has, because everything else Ubisoft has done has been a huge letdown for me, ranging
That's
from
true.
Wildlands to Far Cry, which is basically a hunting simulator at this point.
It is.
All the way, just throughout.
find
Assassin's
your
Creed,
green herbs.
my boat
Okay,
flying
but
through.
Origins, we can all agree is going to be something different. They took a
Everything's
couple
going to be
years.
something different.
No, but
Every
Origins,
year,
look,
Assassin's Creed 3 is going to be
Oh,
great.
I don't
Black
know.
Flag has sailing.
Okay,
it's going to be. My boat's definitely not
Black Flag
going to
has sailing.
I
fly,
was done.
fly into
I
the
was
sky.
done after 3. I've only I played everything except for Revelation, and then I did the American Civil War and said, you know what, I did my duty, and then I haven't picked up another one because fucking being a pirate, I don't want Johnny Depp simulator. Like, that's not what I wanted I wanted actual historical stuff, and they were like, let's talk about
I wanted to
pirates.
spend 12 hours
and
absolutely
not talk about how, like, they just, like, constantly rape and pillage everything, but not this guy.
Not this one.
After he literally
He's a
murdered
good
someone.
pirate.
So, back to my first aside, because that was an aside from my aside. Rainbow Six is the best post-launch support I think I've ever seen outside
Okay.
GTA 5. They are aiming for 100 different operators by the end of it.
Wow.
All DLC's been free.
Yeah.
All the characters are free. The only reason to get a season pass is to get the characters early and without paying in-game currency, which is if you play nonstop if you play consistently throughout the season, you don't need that. The Ubisoft Rainbow Six team is excellent. They also are big on Reddit support, and so is PUBG. They go to the Reddits.
Which is something I need to start doing more often.
Reddit? Oh, yeah.
I need to start Reddit.
Reddit's
more in
helping me
general.
from everything from law school admissions all the way over to player unknown.
Yeah.
It's
So,
honestly pretty great.
yeah.
I mean, EA can take some fucking notes.
Oh no. Okay. On EA, I'm once again excited for Star Wars Battlefront 2 too.
You know that
because there is the first
Right.
good Star Wars battle, and I am perfectly ready to be let down. But I'm still excited because it's Star Wars.
Yeah, EA made me cry when they released that trailer. I'm a big crier, but EA made
I'm a big
EA
crier.
You go back to depression
released
comments.
that.
Okay.
trailer back in like what was it 20 fucking what 14 I think.
Oh, for the first.
For the very first time, it was
Okay.
It was at some E3, and I saw it and I heard it and I was like, oh my god.
EA made me cry when they released Battlefront.
And then
Just in general,
yeah.
not because I was nostalgic, but because they once again managed to crush what I
Oh,
wanted.
crying from tears of
Just,
sadness.
Yeah.
just give me an HD rework of
Yeah,
Battlefront 1 and 2, the originals, and I would be happy.
I'm
Yeah,
also
not
like
I'm not a very big
for
crier.
me, I'm like a 2 years late gamer.
Okay.
I will always wait until something is reviewed or is, after.
That's like 2 days late.
Well, no, like more reviews, like the general consensus of what the internet thinks, because generally when a whole group of people throws their opinions out there, then you actually get what the product actually is. And so after what I bought Battlefield 1, what was it, a month ago for
Yeah,
$10.
about a month and a half.
Rather than spending $50 on a game that let everyone down, I waited, got my money for it, still got to enjoy some Star Wars before the new one's released. So, like, there are only certain games, like Dark Souls, where I'm going to be like, fuck yeah, no matter what, I'm your loyal fan.
Sure.
But, like, for most games, like, I bought Prey right off the bat because I thought it was going to be the next Bioshock. I've really been enjoying it because it kind of is. So, I don't know, I feel like with the next one, I want to buy it right off the bat just because I want more Star Wars, but EA, man, it's like
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. I think that's fair. I was really impressed by like all the E3 Let's Plays that I saw. Like they would have like people that are big in the like current Battlefront community go in, or even the Star Wars community in general, and they would have people like actually play it. So I felt like that was. I felt like that kind of like sold me. Like I don't think I'm gonna buy it like stand in line or anything like that or pre-order it, but I'll definitely give it some time and I don't know.
What are your thoughts as someone who doesn't play PUBG on PUBG? Do you understand why people are excited? Do you play computer games a lot?
I'm more of like an Xbox One person. I do have
I'm
a Steam
sorry.
account.
friend me.
Okay, I shall. I play a lot of Battlefield 1, not Battlefront, Battlefield 1, because
I need to get Battlefield 1. Everyone's saying that Call of Duty World at War II, or World War II? Is it just World? Yeah, it's just World War II.
Yeah, something.
Is just ripping everything off of Battlefield 1.
It's still Call of Duty, though.
Yeah.
So those differences.
Yeah.
What do you mean they're ripping everything
I don't know,
out?
like the
Call
gun-
of Duty and Medal of Honor.
the reload animations and the sounds and certain.
I would
certain
say if they
ways
were
the
ripping
guns-
those things off, they'd be in a lawsuit
I thought so
quick
too.
it wouldn't
Yeah,
even be funny.
someone came out with a comparison
Everyone-
video, and I'm like, why?
You know what's crazy
They
about
have their
guns?
own money
You know what's
to
crazy about
reskin their
guns
own
is that
shit.
they are real things and they are reloaded
Yes,
the same way.
yes.
A magazine or a clip, if you're using it in $1 grand, comes out the exact same way unless you're doing something very wrong,
I didn't
Yeah.
know
and goes
that.
back in the same
I
way.
did not know
Just
that.
I know some people just don't understand.
So what you're saying is that there's not like 3 ways to like reload a gun. There's only a single way.
Normally, if you're doing
Normally,
it right.
If you're doing it right.
Then
So
again,
in
if
order
you
for the gun to function,
Yes.
there's one way to do it.
yes,
That is.
Well, Call of Duty's.
but
doing
Call
it
of
the
Duty
exact
stole that.
same way.
Let's ignore the fact that Call of Duty was around before Battlefield.
Yeah.
My
Yes,
recollection
good
saves
point.
me. But at the end of the day, Call of Duty is going to be Call of Duty as per usual, and
Yeah.
Battlefield's going to be Battlefield as per usual.
Yeah.
Except for I'm not going to lie, I miss helicopters in Battlefield because I really, really and I miss C4. I'm just going to say, if you want to put out an expansion of just C4 special mode for me, where I can put C4 on a whatever vehicle and drive it into a building and blow it up for funsies, that'd be great.
That's fair.
Or a skyscraper. Did they have skyscrapers back then?
Probably not.
Either way, they should
In
build one.
1914? No.
They should build one in this mystical land just so I can blow it
The
up.
biggest fucking building they have is like a
Mystical
fucking
Land
bank.
with C4 and
C4 Sky Tower. Just bring Battlefield 4 back
Yeah.
for me right now is what I'm asking.
Fair.
But PUBG, yes. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, my thoughts. It seems okay. I've seen a lot of gameplays. Follow this channel, Funhouse. Probably familiar with.
Yep.
Follow. They played it a couple times. It looks very interesting, but at the same time, very nerve wracking. I don't like.
Oh,
games,
yeah. Oh,
it's
I don't,
intense.
I don't
Yeah.
like games that make me feel a sense of urgency. I just kind of like to chill out when I play games. I don't like to get all nervous.
So like
Oh, dude,
Outlast
I'm
and really
uptight.
Yeah,
any
see,
of those.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Rainbow Six used to be. When Rainbow Six first came out, before everyone just kind of said, let's play this like every other shooter ever made and ruin the specialness of this
Yeah.
game. It used to be like, oh shit, you're in a 1-on-1, and you're both like hiding behind corners, taking pop shots at each
Yeah.
other. And now it's more like, well, they got rid of ACOGs on Jaeger and all defenders who aren't one speed, but it's more like, let's rip down this window and start shooting before they spawn, and hopefully they spawn
Yeah.
right into my bullets.
That's really what it is now. I feel like there was one round I killed 3 people at once, and I was just like, holy shit, and everyone was like, holy shit, and I just wanted to be like, I'm not that good, this is all just luck. Because like, if they don't come into your line of sight and you're already prepared for them, you're probably gonna die, because you're most likely moving in someone else's line of sight, and then you die. It's all surprise tactics, and it kind of sucks, but also, I mean,
So like, what's the big
It's
draw?
pretty cool.
Like for I don't know, maybe you both have different reasons, but for you, what is the big draw to player?
PUBG.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I've always been kind of like a solo gamer, so
Okay.
like putting myself up against everyone else and like seeing who can kill the other one first is kind of cool. It to me, like, it's the new it's not the new Doom, but when Doom was super popular, it was the thing to play.
Sure.
So like,
Okay.
but instead the strategy is just fucking hide and don't get electrocuted by the closing in blue line.
Right.
only,
Right.
only if you're a camper.
Yeah, only if you're. Well, that's what most people are. Besides the people who get in trucks or cars and drive.
No, you
around.
should watch some of if you watch the people who consistently, like Stone Mountain, he's like the biggest Facebook streamer of it. If you watch those people consistently top 10 finishes while moving, it's just the fact that, you can't run through an open field
Yeah.
surrounded by buildings.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think people forget these things. Just
Right,
like,
Yeah.
if you wait till the circle comes on you, you've kind of lost at that point, because
Yeah.
you can't really worry about like, oh, there's trees here. It's more like, okay, I can either die from circle or I can die there.
But I think it's really cool to watch the evolution of how multiplayer shooter games are kind of like moving on, because now it's not as much of, well, if you have this weapon or if you find this or you get this, I don't know, perk or something, then you automatically win. So
Right.
like back in the heyday of Xbox 360, if you
Yes.
had certain perks for Call of Duty,
Model
or guns,
1887 and a
yes,
noob tube with
exactly.
One Man Army.
Or if you found the rocket launcher or the sword, or the Nubular in Halo 3. What I like about what I like about PUBG the most is that everyone has sort of the same start.
It's balanced.
It's balanced.
Okay.
And
And you only get ahead if you want to risk it. So like,
yes,
we had a really shitty drop. It's really hard
Yeah.
also to coordinate a drop because I'm marking it on the map like as the plane's flying.
and I'm
just
like, I just
hoping-
have to follow him.
And sometimes I'll try to switch it, but then I'm like, no, I can't switch it, even though there's a lot of people, because he won't notice, because he's probably not looking at the map. But I mean, so school, like 30 people minimum always drop in on school because it's such good loot. On the other hand, there's 30 people there. So like 5 of them are going to get beaten to death with fists.
Yeah.
Then there's
my
going to be the
first-
guy who finds the shotgun
Yeah.
first, and he'll take out another 5. Then the other guy will find the SCAR or the M4 and just kind of clean up the rest. So I mean, if it's late game and circle drops onto school, you can rest assured knowing that at least one person has the best equipment in the entire game just hanging out.
But then, by the time you get to school, you have some decent enough shit to take him down.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
In theory.
Yeah, in theory.
Unless you're me and find an Uzi and we're 30 minutes into the game and the
Yeah.
Uzi's terrible.
Yeah, Jesus, that was a rough one.
I like it, one, because I want to start streaming, and it's huge. It's built on streamers.
It's
They
huge.
built their legacy on streamers, and I say legacy because no matter what, they've sold 10 million copies, have had the most concurrent users of any Steam game ever now, and consistently rank at like 200,000. So I want to start streaming, so Furious Wombat Gaming on Twitch. If you want to be like my 13th viewer,
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
I'll make sure to do that.
Thanks, John.
Yep.
But no, and I like sometimes having the intense game. And there's just way more strategy to it than I don't like the thing now is kind of like I can respawn in Call of Duty, therefore who cares how many times I die?
Right.
And sometimes I'm just sick and tired of watching, oh, this guy got 40 kills, but he also died 37 times.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it's just frustrating to me that that's kind of the mentality, which is like, I still play Rainbow Six. And I bought it when it first came out. My buddy Eric and I will still play. Just because you can try so many different strategies and you die, you're done for the round. And the player base is pretty good. They're really strict on team kills. So if you play, like, you'll get banned if you
Okay.
team kill on
Okay.
purpose. So that's nice. I feel like they're listening to people. I feel like it is kind of the niche game right now. Like, everyone's in on PUBG. It's been top seller for God
Well,
knows how long.
I think it's because, like, there are 4 other games that I think 4 that were kind of like this. H1Z1 was one of them. There was Ark Survival is sort of like this too, somewhat with more fucking dinosaurs and shit.
Yes.
And then there was another one too. Shit,
DayZ.
DayZ was a lot like that.
So, funny story. PlayerUnknown's the one who created the DayZ mod. Then
Yeah,
H1Z1 paid him to come build H1Z1. And neither one of those 2 games fulfilled the promises they made
Right.
to him.
and they're
Yeah.
all
So he
still in
said,
alpha.
we'll just do it. Yeah.
And so, like, I feel, well, except for Ark's the only one that's like a legit.
Arc
game now.
Arc and their season
Yeah.
pass $30
Which is
jump.
ridiculous.
Uh,
But like all 3 of those kept telling their user base, their fan base that like, okay, it's coming, like we promise, and then they do like small little updates for the alpha. But then finally, I feel like PUBG is all 3 of those somewhat combined.
It's realized.
And it's like,
It's fully
yes,
realized.
it's fully going on, and like it's finally the game that everyone wanted with like DayZ and H1Z1. Arcs still don't. I guess. We
And
cannot
so
even count
essentially
Arc in
this game is like it kind of began like as a mod essentially,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
it's
well, so it was DayZ had its own. What did they? I think it was called Battlegrounds mod. So the mod DayZ had a mod. I think it didn't come out till the standalone came out though, which was a King of the Hill.
Yeah.
And then H1Z1 King of
Plus
the.
King of the Hill. Like if you play
Yeah.
H1Z1 and then you play PUBG, you'll be like, oh, there's just
If you play
There's no
Arma, if
difference.
you understand
Okay.
the controls of Arma, you'll understand the controls of any of those games.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's I love PUBG. It's my fave.
Anyone?
What are you
super
guys
pumped?
excited about right now?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask. Anyone play Destiny?
No.
no.
Solid.
I was
did.
really,
Solid,
I was
great.
really
I'm
let
not
down.
excited for Destiny 2, so I guess we could just skip
They
that.
have Nathan Fillion on it. You missed the one Absolver is on my list. I'm waiting out the server issues, but I am hyped
Code
for
Vein,
Absolver.
anyone?
What is Code Vein?
No, it's the new From Software game.
Call of Cthulhu. There's a Cthulhu game coming.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good. My dad's super
Crackdown
pumped for
3
it.
is I think been announced for like the 27th time. So
no
that's
one-
cool.
No one is a huge Dark Souls fan.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's well.
I'm bad at
I'm
it.
sorry. I played it, and I played a version. Funhouse did it. Drunk Souls. Every time I died, I would play. I would get a shot every time I died.
So a lot.
Yep.
Yep.
It was not a good
You
time.
get fucked up.
Yep.
It's a great thing to do. Actually,
Kingdom Hearts 3 is still coming out eventually.
you know,
One
yeah,
day.
I think
Mercedes says
I'm
that
hoping
Kingdom
I'll
Hearts
still
is
be
pretty
alive.
awesome. I've never
Kingdom
played
Hearts is
Kingdom Hearts.
so good.
I heard it's like one of those things we should try and find one we all are super pumped for, and then we can start in on the conversation on that.
Mario and Luigi. I'm the only one with the Switch, right? Mario and Rabbids. Okay, real quick.
I've
Mario and
played-
Rabbids. Let's just
How
talk
the
about Mario
fuck
and
did
Rabbids.
Mario get a gun?
Okay, so basically, he's got to shoot these people. Basically, Mario Rabbids is XCOM combined into the Mario world. It is the
Oh,
XCOM
shit.
battle, like percentages for shots, abilities, death and battles, combined into Mario. Oh, Middle Earth.
Yeah?
That was
No?
a good segue.
Sorry, we keep pointing at the screen. I'll fill in the podcast, people, if anyone listens to this.
Yeah, no, okay. Number one, why'd they pair it with the Rabbit series? I don't know why that's a thing. I
Dude,
don't
it's
even know-
awesome.
I don't.
You're
Oh
taking
my
a tone
God.
right now. It shouldn't work at all. It is funny. It is Mario. Like, it's a true Mario game with like more adult humor, and it's funny, and it's a well-made Mario strategy game. No game since Paper Mario in Nintendo 64 has
Okay.
made a strategy game for
That
Mario
is
so
true.
well.
And fucking Paper Mario was like
Honestly,
a
I throw it
weird
up there with any
cult
top.
Nintendo
Yeah.
following. Like if you didn't know Paper Mario, you didn't really get Nintendo products.
I don't hate on Mario Rabbids because it has no
know.
business being as good as it is.
Huh.
WWE 2K18, anyone? Yeah, yeah.
I think
No.
we're gonna go to talk about Middle Earth. 'Cause
Yeah.
did anyone else? Did you guys play the other? The
I played the first one, and I
Yeah.
didn't finish it, but I really enjoyed it.
Did you?
Yeah, I finished it.
I
What
wrote
a
an article
letdown.
about it back when I was a
Was
sophomore.
it about how the ending was dumb?
No,
real dumb?
saying it was going to be the game of the year because of X, Y, and Z, and then it
Oh,
ended
God.
up being game of the year. So I was
Hey.
super excited
Oh,
about
because
that.
they introduced the Nemesis system
Yeah.
and then didn't utilize
and then
it
a few
even
other
close to
things
its
that
fullest
they
ability.
did. Yes, the story.
A few other things like
expanding.
being related to Lord of the Rings, and
But
that's
I
about it.
couldn't play it. I could not play
Thank
It was
God.
really hard.
I could
Yeah.
not. I couldn't get through like the first 2 missions.
Yep.
And I was done because I guess I was just getting off of Batman.
You're not good at
And-
hitting counters, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do this with a sword. Like that's
How
not
long can
really
you hit triangle in a
interesting.
row?
I think I got to mid-game, and I was supposed to start turning a bunch of orcs into my army,
Yeah.
and I was real bad at that because I kept just getting jumped by like 30 of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've seen videos where people are very good at
Yeah.
this game, and I am mediocre at best.
I think the Nemesis system was wasted so badly on that game.
Yeah.
What would you
Such
like to have
a
seen?
cool concept, followed up with literally, you need to turn every single person.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
happened upon the top ranking guy? Well, don't worry. Everyone
He's
under him
yours
works
now,
for you
yeah.
because he's no more difficult than the last one. He remembers that you stabbed him one time, but by God, he still sucks.
Yeah.
Like the idea that you survived getting the rest of your people died and you ran away doesn't justify you getting promoted if you're literally a garbage
No,
fighter.
they literally.
And the big
Didn't
battle.
the movie they kill someone for being like the last one to
Yeah.
survive?
Yeah,
I
they
swear to
did.
God they did.
So here's the great thing. I'm gonna spoil the ending for you.
Oh, that's fine.
Here we
I've
go.
seen the.
You get to the
I
end.
watched the whatever
Guess
it's called.
guess how you fight the Dark Lord. Just take a imagine the most anticlimactic battle you can right
The
now.
army does it for you.
The army does it for you, and you get to hit 6 QuickTime events.
Oh.
Oh,
Don't forget the QuickTime events, everyone.
Well, those
Which
are
are
a
the-
must-have in any Batman game. I mean, shit. Whoops.
so
That's like a Rise of Rome when it first came out,
So
and
wait.
everyone's like, "Oh, this whole game's a QuickTime. Why does it exist?"
Do you fight? Wait, do you fight Sauron in the end?
Yeah. Well, you fight like the mouth of Sauron, I
Yeah, the
think,
mouth
but then
of
he kind of
Sauron.
like it like goes in and out of this scene where he's like, the mouth is essentially Sauron's spirit, and then
Yeah.
you hit X twice, and then fuck up on square, but then you hit
Yeah.
O, so he's dead.
I wonder
Yeah.
how powerful Sauron's dick is. Because you fought the eye, now you fought the mouth. At some point.
Why
Yeah,
would you
that's-
jump straight there?
Well,
I-
that's the
That's
next.
That's
the
the
bottom
next-
of the barrel.
That's
That's
the
like,
next logical thing.
I mean, you have to fight his leg or his foot, maybe his
Why
brain.
is Minecraft listed at something coming out?
Because they're always
It's coming to the
crazy
Switch
updates.
now. Okay.
Yes, and they're coming to the Switch. But also they do.
Nidhogg, dude.
A
Did
lot
you guys?
different.
You played Nidhogg with me, right? Oh, have you ever played Nidhogg?
I have no idea
It's a
what
it's
it
a
is.
fencing game, and it's pixelated. So I'm not excited for the second one. So the original one's pixelated,
Jesus
and you
Christ.
can like throw your sword and everything, and
Wow.
it's just like
That sounds
this
like a
long
lot of
battle.
loads of fun.
It's actually one
It's
of the
actually
funnest
crazy,
games. Yeah,
yeah.
it's super fun.
It's not what you'd expect.
And-
It's
but
pretty
then-
fucking crazy. I showed Nidhogg 2 was actually at RTX this year.
Yeah, well,
And
then they
so I
went and
showed one of
fucked
my
up like the kind of cool like art style they had going for it, and went with
Yeah,
like
they
ragdoll
did.
physics. And I'm very upset. Just give me a few more maps and let me stab some people. Next
sorry.
time we record this, we'll do it at my house. We'll play Nidhogg.
Oh, I figured we'd
Jesus.
just record 2, because basically what we did right now, and we'll cut this out clearly, but basically what we did right now was talk about movies, or TV the first half, and movies, and then the second half we can just
I don't know.
talk
I
about
want to
games.
record another one soon.
It's all right. Yeah,
I
this
know,
is
we
fine.
could do that too, but I'm saying we could literally get 2 different ones if we go for another 30 minutes.
You guys have 30 minutes worth of.
Look at all
Worth of
this
content.
shit. Yes.
John doesn't have a list.
My list is over. The last thing on my list is Joel Osteen,
Okay,
which
you're
Malcolm
right.
doesn't want to talk about.
That's fine. Okay, you're right.
We're gonna try to keep this a politics-free one, but Joel Osteen, man, fuck Joel Osteen.
I mean,
Look,
yeah.
he had to. God takes a while to get back
Did
to you
you? Oh
sometimes.
shit! Oh shit! We'll have to add this in our Rick and Morty stuff. We're gonna do a lot of posts.
It's fine. We'll just circle
so,
back.
I'm sorry. Who are the creators again?
Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon.
Justin Roiland, Dan Harmon. They prank called Joel Osteen's church, and they were
What?
asking for like them to give him prayers and stuff. And he did Rick's voice. He literally said he was Rick, and they prank called the mega church, and they were just talking about all this shit. He was like, "I got $87,000 for you. It's just right here. I'm gonna give. Actually, I got $83,997 for you right here. I just need a prayer from Joel. I just want to hear Joel and like all this different stuff." And he's like, "How much do you get paid to like the worker and stuff to be on the hotline prayer and all this shit?" It was fucking insane.
Is this on YouTube?
This is on YouTube. They
Okay, I'm
recorded
gonna go
themselves
find
doing
this. That is
It
amazing.
was, yes. And I was like, admit everything that's going on. They prank call the church that
I
is
love it.
supposed to be helping everyone.
Right.
No, they opened their doors now, Soren.
Hey,
but like
yeah,
you
that's
said,
true.
No,
it's
listen.
a long
If they would have
distance
came
call.
to him earlier, he definitely would have
How was he gonna know that people weren't gonna have homes?
prevented
He
the
rectified
disaster.
it.
Did he ever say that he was psychic? No. So how could he have known that 17,000 seats could be helpful in this situation?
That
How
is
could he
true.
have known?
He did say like there was.
I don't
some
see you.
flooding.
I don't see you opening up your
That's
house.
true. Shoot.
Yeah. Something about casting the first stone, glass houses.
That's true. I
Something.
didn't do anything.
Something about that.
Something about
it's
it.
in there somewhere.
Yeah.
He did more than me after he realized he had to do something.
The negative PR had nothing to do with it. Look, he probably doesn't even watch
I
all
donated.
those
I'm pretty sure
tweets
I
and-
donated money to Harvey. I went to Taco Bell today, and I'm pretty sure I had a
I
charity.
donated money
a charity
through
donation of a-
PetSmart to the animals of Harvey.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, there's
Because
a
you know
huge-
what? They did nothing wrong.
They didn't.
And they never have and never will.
They
because
may
they're-
maybe they shat on the carpet, but
What carpet?
oh shit!
Let's cut that
Wow,
out.
Oh,
that's too
Jesus
soon. No, we're gonna leave that. 'cause
Yeah,
that's
even the Joel
that's a good
stuff
one.
was too
people
much.
got to know our raw
No,
personalities.
can we please cut that out? I want to be president of the United States
try.
one day. Put it in the outtakes, the late night.
Yes. We can have it later. Are we done though? I think we're.
All right, yeah, that's.
I think
that's
it'd be better if we just get together. I want to get together and record one
I
every
agree
week if we
too.
can, because I don't get
I
to
have-
talk about this.
yeah.
My friend the only other person I talked to is about moved to Seattle. Okay.
That's
I'm
true.
really sorry. Okay, this is the
Let's do an outro.
this is the outro.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Thank you for listening. I'm John again, and this is Malcolm. He can't say words,
What?
and
We definitely need to come up with a better.
Okay,
we'll
okay, let's
figure it
cut
out.
this and let's record an outro
Yeah.
and an intro.
fuck.
Oh, that's a good.
No, this was all right.
All right.
That can be our outro right there.
God